Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So tomorrow at midnight, the government will shut down if Congress can't get their shit together and pass at least a temporary stopgap spending bill before then. It seems unlikely. Everybody's saying that more than likely the government will at least shut down through the weekend. The fact is that both Democrats and Republicans are using this pressure to force the other side's hand on stimulus negotiations. Of course, we have Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders to thank for any of this because the two of them held out and said, we're not going home for Christmas. We're not doing anything unless a stimulus package is passed, and it must include assistance for Americans. So they really deserve all the credit and really just telling everybody, hey, you guys can do what you want. You can drag this out, but you will not be home for Christmas if you do. But other Republicans outside of Josh Hawley, and I definitely don't believe in everything he believes in. I don't agree with him on everything, but I will give him credit in this regard. But Republicans in general right now are so completely and totally out of touch with what average Americans are experiencing right now. And I'm sure a lot of Democrats too. It's almost like they're living on another planet. They're trying, the Republicans that is, are trying to insert language into this new stimulus bill that would restrict the lending authority of the Federal Reserve. So one of the senators who's really pushing this is Republican Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. And here's what he had to say about why he wants to include this verbiage and put in this measure to prevent the Fed from stepping in the future, essentially once Biden takes office. So he said, quote, "We establish in statute that no more loans can be made from these programs, which was exactly what is in the statute now. It was always intended to be a temporary facility to get us through a momentary crisis. It worked. The crisis has long passed, the crisis for which it was designed. And so it was always intended to go away. And what we're going to do is make sure that nobody can choose to interpret the statute in a different way." So essentially, what Toomey is saying is, nothing to see here, folks. Everything's good. Everything's back to normal. Why would Americans need more assistance? I mean, we're going to potentially hand some of them a $600 check. Are you kidding me? What planet is this guy living on? The crisis has long passed? Seriously? It's like he's in a freaking coma or something. Have these people bothered to stick their heads out of their estates or their country clubs long enough to realize that we are in the middle of a massive recession and teetering on the edge of, if not already in, a full-blown depression? If you don't give people and small businesses financial aid, people are going to be more reluctant to stay home and keep their businesses closed. Then COVID numbers will continue to climb. That will lead to more shutdowns and fewer people feeling safe to go out and spend money. Do you understand? They're literally causing a vicious cycle. This is a nightmare of their own making. And we just got new numbers for unemployment last week. It's not pretty. It's continuing to move in the wrong direction. So in the week ending December 12th, 885,000 people filed new claims for unemployment benefits. That's another increase from the prior week. 455,037 additional Americans filed claims through the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program last week. That's the program that provides aid to the self-employed, the gig workers, and so forth. That's also an increase on a week-over-week basis. Add to that an increasing amount of unemployed federal workers at 2,234 and 821 newly discharged veterans. And we're now looking at nearly 1.4 newly unemployed citizens filing for benefits in 1 week, just 1 week. And for the first time in months, the number of ongoing claims has increased. So for a while, we were seeing slight decreases in the ongoing claims because businesses were reopening, some people were heading back to work. So even as some new claims were being filed and new people were being laid off, others who had been on unemployment long-term were finally able to find employment. And they were going back, and there were more people going back to work than there were filing new claims. So we saw that number, the long-term number, coming down. Now that overall figure is increasing once again, in large part due to the post-Thanksgiving COVID surge. And because we're seeing now a second wave of lockdowns, we're now seeing states that didn't take this seriously. That's another issue. We had a lot of states in middle America that did not take this seriously. They were not hit initially, but then we had the Sturgis motorcycle rally, I believe in September, and people just started to feel like, oh, we're invincible. We can do whatever we want. And now you see all of these states that were not hit before, now they're getting it really bad. And now the states who were already hit, like California and New York, are surging again. All in all, we have almost 21 million Americans currently receiving ongoing unemployment benefits, which is likely to continue to increase as the COVID crisis rages throughout the country and just ravages our country. And we have probably another 10 million who are either underemployed, working part-time when they really need full-time work, or those who have given up, those who are considered to be out of the workforce and they're not even being counted in this data. We know that there's many, many Americans who fall under that heading. And as I reported last week, recent surveys show that millions of renters are behind on payments, and the average renter, the average, owes nearly $6,000 in back rent. How do these lawmakers expect people to come up with that kind of money in 1 or 2 months? Because they're talking about extending the mortgage and rent moratorium 1 more month. Okay, now they're going to owe $7,000 or $8,000 or more, depending on where they live. Where are they going to come up with that money without additional assistance? And that's the other thing they're hung up on. Republicans don't want any money to go to state and local aid, state and local governments, because they say, oh, they misspent their money and they've been bad and we shouldn't have to help them now that they're in trouble. How very Christian of them. Remember when Jesus said, I would give you food, but you haven't been very good with your money. You've been very wasteful, so I'm not going to give you any bread. Said no Jesus ever. States and local governments are using a great deal of their money to fund local rent programs right now. If you Google it, just go Google any city, any state, and look for rent assistance or rent assistance program. And you will find that they've instituted programs to help their citizens get through this difficult time. How can they continue to help and prevent these people from becoming homeless if they run out of money? This is the only thing keeping them from having to go live in their car or on the street. And really, it just pisses me off so much, because these are the same lawmakers who were more than willing to use the Federal Reserve like a piggy bank, to use this like a credit card with no cap to prop up Wall Street and the wealthy. Why is it that the money just flows like water. They got paper all day when it comes to bailing out the wealthy and well-connected. But when it comes time to help thirsty Americans, they want to shut off the valve. Oh no, not a drop to drink. Don't have anything. Don't have a square to spare. As so many say, it is socialism for the wealthy and capitalism for the rest of us. That's really what it boils down to. They absolutely believe in socialism, but only for the people who don't need it, only for the rich. All right, guys, I'll keep you posted. As always, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll talk with you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.